you've come across this article about
Well,
or something you're not so keen on, and you wouldn't photograph. Am I right?
let me. I want to be careful with this. I don't want to get into the massive politics of this. It's
You
because
need to be you need to be very careful what you say here.
I know. Because okay, so but I mean, basically, there's a photographer I follow on Instagram called I think it's Mr. Peru. I don't know if I spelt that right. But he's done a lot of celebrity photographs. I know he's done Marilyn Manson in the past, who is also a contention,
Hmm.
um, yeah, a bit of a dodgy character these days of the allegations come out of him. But he's also, I think he's friends with Matt Smith and photographed Matt Smith, and he's
Hmm.
done a lot of celebrity stuff. And I was just I was just looking on my feed on Instagram, and one of his pictures came up. And first of all, I just want to say it's a marvelous photo. Okay, it is a very good photo. I love the idea behind it as well. So basically, this is a photograph of Nigel Farage, and he's sat at it looks like a dinner table, posh dinner table. He's in his suit. It looks like he's got a napkin sort of tucked on, over his shirt. He's got knife and fork ready, looking to eat. On his plate is a single eye, and he's kind of looking at the camera with the whole Roger Moore eyebrow up, looking at the camera, and then the title of the photo, which is on the front of the Sunday Times magazine, and that's sort of like the headline sort of
Mm.
hook is "The Eyes Have It," which I actually think is a wonderful. It's just it's a wonderful piece of
There's a,
imagery, and it's
yeah.
creative, and it's very good. Now, obviously, we all have our political views and what, and I don't really want to stress on that too much. But even the photographer stressed he put a little comment on it, and he said, so it's under the picture of Nigel Farage. He goes, a controversial character and subject, but in person charming and charismatic, which he is. I
Mm.
mean, I've seen him on things. He is charming and charismatic. But then he goes on to say, the photographer does, um, I'm a people photographer. I don't judge the people I'm paid to photograph. I'm eyes for hires. So, he's a photographer, lens for hire, whatever it is. So that just got me thinking, and we don't have to sort of speak about this picture too much in particular, but it did get me thinking rather. Would you photograph someone you didn't like? Now, it could be someone like Nigel Farage, or it could be someone, it could be Keir Starmer, if your views are different. Or it could be someone that you knew from school who you didn't like. I don't know, maybe someone bullied you at school and
Mm.
they ask you to shoot their wedding or something.
Mm.
Would you do that?
Mm.
So it doesn't have to be someone quite as famous as Farage there,
Mm.
but and I was just wondering, would I do it? Would I shoot someone I really didn't like? I don't know, an old boss who treated you badly, or and they go, "Oh, you're a photographer now. Go on. Do you want to do my wedding?" And I'm thinking,
Mm.
would I do it? I don't know. If I didn't like the person, I mean, if I was indifferent, maybe, but if I didn't like the person, would I actually take on the job? What do you think?
Well, I'm been looking through some of the comments on this first, which I find quite interesting because
Okay,
we're getting other people's take on it, which I
yeah,
think so looking through the comment, I think okay, it says here, epic photography as usual, sir. Um,
mm,
Killer photos as always. Question is it trickier taking photos of people or places that you know will be controversial, or does that make for better results? Now, the photographer here replies back saying, I'd rather photograph someone or somewhere who or that takes invokes strong feelings either way. I think it's good to provoke conversation. I think it's good to trigger reaction and feelings, or we might as well not bother because what we do would be irrelevant. In a different way, your paintings are strongly evocative and trigger emotions. I'd hate to be doing work that people don't have feelings about. And so someone says, last sort of comment I'll pick up, I don't buy this. I don't judge BS. You have
yes,
made this NF character out to look wholly acceptable and attractive. Fair play. We all got to put food on the table. But
yeah,
okay. So uh, so you different people are going to respond differently.
yeah,
As a professional, yes, you sort of think, okay, well, is it a case of I need the work? If I
mm.
really need the work,
And I don't
and
think this guy does, to be honest. This
okay, right,
photographer,
okay,
he seems
yeah,
pretty on the higher band of photographers that us
Okay.
mere mortals don't achieve.
Okay. D- let's just say a photographer, um, you know, gets the opportunity to do a shoot of somebody he or she doesn't like, and doesn't like the person, but is going to get paid pretty well for it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one way where a photographer, that's one reason why a photographer would make a decision.
Mm,
The other thing would be the same situation. You're going to get paid X amount, and this photographer's thinking, I don't like the guy. I don't need to do it for the money, so I'm not going to
mm,
do it.
mm,
Okay. And that's the end of that. Um,
mm,
and then you've got somebody who then says, I really need the money, but my principles are more of value to me.
mm,
Um, but I'm going to lose out on this, you know,
mm,
well paid opportunity. So they're the different scenarios, I guess.
mm.
Okay. Would I do it? I don't know until I was actually in that situation.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
easy to sit
hard,
here
isn't
and
it?
say, well, yeah, because I've got my morals. There's no way
Yeah.
you're going to get me to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you're going to get paid for it. You're going to get paid, I don't know, £10,000, and it's
Yeah.
a day's work. And you think,
Yeah.
oh, actually,
Actually, yeah,
yeah, right,
that could pay off a few bills and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
uh,
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
money talks, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's as straightforward as saying, would you take photographs? Now, however, if it was uh, an unpaid assignment, now let's forget the fact that you say, "Well, I'm not doing it if I'm getting not getting paid." Anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, let's just say, look, you had the opportunity to do some photos of this particular person, and there's no money involved in it for anyone anywhere.
Mm.
Okay, money doesn't come into it. Then what would you do? Would you then say, "I don't really like the person, but you know what? You know, I'm a good
Oh,
guy.
look good in your portfolio.
It would look good in your portfolio. I'm a good guy. And you know what? If I meet the guy, I might get to understand the guy a little bit more. I might see a different side to the person. So I'm an
Yeah.
open-minded person. Maybe I've got this person wrong. Or are you going to say, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to go anywhere near that person, Um, so I don't think it's easy for anyone to be able to answer that question, to say,
I
yes, I
think,
would, or
yeah.
no, I wouldn't.
I think it is tricky. I think it's because don't forget it is also a fantastic photo. Um
Hmm.
I also the whole don't judge thing, I don't buy that actually. I think that the fact of the matter is he was probably offered a lot of money and that's going to sway anyone. And that's I mean, I'm guessing here. I don't know him, and I don't want to be slanderous or anything, but he's probably offered a lot of money and gone, you know what, I'll swallow my pride and I'll do it. Or he might agree with Nigel Farage. We don't know. We don't know. He might, you know, he might
Exactly.
support what Farage thinks. I don't know. Um, so the whole I'm a people photographer, I don't judge, blah 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 blah. I think that's a politician speak for saying, yeah, well, I took the money, um, personally, and I'd probably do the same thing if I took the job. I'd probably want to not necessarily admit it was the money that made me do it and judge, but. Having Nigel Farage in this instance, obviously it's about Nigel Farage's picture of him. I
Hmm.
want to get off him in a minute and talk about other people, but he is, no matter what you think about him, he is a very important person in our current political climate. He will be in the history books because
Oh
for
God, yeah,
me, he's responsible for the pretty much the biggest foreign policy change we've made and has never been elected.
yeah,
That's quite an incredible thing.
yeah.
Well, whichever way you either like it or dislike that fact, it's
Mm.
nevertheless an incredible thing. So it's important, and it is, and I keep going back to it. It's a marvelous. I really like the photo. I think it's really clever. I
It
think it's
is, yeah.
and only Farage really could be in that picture, I guess. I don't think it would have worked with any other politician. Just the
Mm.
way he looks at the camera with that eyebrow and everything like that. Because he knows he's controversial. He knows that the trouble he gets himself into and all this kind of stuff. So it only worked with him. So as a creative piece, it's fantastic. Um, when people start talking about legitimizing him, look, he's already been legitimized because he's been on I'm a Celebrity. He's on Question Time.
Mm,
He's on all these political. He is, a mainstream politician, even though his views might not be considered that out of context. But
mm,
you know, so I don't buy the whole don't legitimize him. He's already been legitimized, whether you like it or not. Um, but yeah, but just to move it along though a little bit, obviously it's very easy to talk about someone who is, not someone you have any relationship with, or you just may or like or dislike his views. But let's say it's someone a bit more personal. Let's say it was a boss who made your life really difficult in a previous job, or let's say a bully, or
mm,
or even maybe it's someone's, it could be the dad of a child, and that child is bullying your son or something
mm.
like that, and they ask you to photograph the wedding, and the son's going to be it. Do you know what I mean? How would you tackle that one? Because it's still offering you money to do X, Y, and Z, but now it's a
Mm.
bit more personal, and you don't like him because of personal reasons, not political reasons or any other reason. Because you personally don't like him because that person has illed you in some way. What would you do then?
Yeah, I mean, I've been at weddings where somebody has, I don't know, a guest has made, like a silly remark or something, right? You think, what an idiot, right? Whatever remark it could be or something, like, oh, what is you again? Is it, when you're there with
Yeah.
the camera or something, and and I have actually been in the situation. I thought he's not getting any photographs taken today. This
Yeah.
guest, right? I'm going to be honest. I've done it, and I've heard it from our team, right? And when someone said, "Oh, that guy's just really annoyed me," and they've said, "Why?" Because he said such and such something. I said, "You know what? Just don't take any photos of him all day."
Mm,
Right? I've said that,
yeah.
right? Because he doesn't deserve our time or attention. He's made
Mm,
it clearly obvious for whatever reason. He doesn't like us. He doesn't like us being around. He clearly just doesn't want his photo taken. So he's
mm.
not going to have any photos taken.
This could be a
Uh,
she as well, by the way.
oh
Let's just
yes, yeah.
say.
Sorry, I'm just yeah, that's right. Yeah, and um, so yeah, I have done that, but coming on straight to, I don't think there's an answer until you were in that situation.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it?
I'm not trying to evade sort of trying to give a definite answer because I can't actually do it. I can't actually
Mm,
say either way. Nigel Farage, let's take him as a person. You're right in everything that you've said. It, I mean, he is a hugely decisive character.
mm.
He is, we know what he's supposedly what he stands for.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. And people agree with him and a lot of people don't agree with him.
Yeah.
But there's publicity is what keeps the wheels going round, doesn't it?
It is. It is.
It's
But
you've got to face these, you've got to face people and situations and circumstances that make you feel uncomfortable in life.
yeah. No, I guess. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid talking about Farage quite so much because it's not necessarily about him. It's about in general. If someone has, let's say, I mean, I've had, there's some people who I've had our big arguments with. There's some people who I feel have actually, mistreated me here, there, and whatever, whether it's due to work or I mean, school, there wasn't really much of an issue there. But if I had been bullied at school by this guy or
Mm,
or a woman, it could be
mm,
either. Let's face it. Let's say I was really bullied by someone, and 10 years later, I'm a wedding photographer, and they go, oh, well, be a bit longer than 10. Let's say 20 years later, they're getting married, and they want me to take the photograph, and I'd be
mm.
like, I'm not sure if I want to take a photograph, mate, because you made my life a misery at school. Do you know what I mean? Um, I have not been in that position.
I
Um,
think in those situations, I think you can just sort of get away with it quite easily by just saying, I'm sorry, but I'm fully booked, can't do it.
Oh, I know that much. I
You
know
know,
that much. I'm
yeah.
talking about the actual decision in not doing it.
No,
He,
yeah,
he might
yeah,
be offering you 2 to 3 grand to shoot his wedding. Are you
yeah.
gonna? Is it? Oh, are you better off thinking? Oh, I'm gonna take that guy's money. Every pound of this was for every. Or
Mm,
would you go? No, I want absolutely nothing to do with this. So and so. Um, if he wants my work, I like the fact that I'm turning him down. Do you
mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Where would you go? Where would you go with that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's another one of those situations that until you're in, when you're in that situation, what decision do you make? Because as I was saying, just coming back to it, it's far easier to sort of say, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell that person I'm fully booked, can't do their wedding.
Mm,
Okay. Now, when it comes to, let's say Nigel Farage again, okay, said, would I take photos of Nigel Farage, whether because I like him or whether I don't like him, whatever, I have a decision to make. The
mm.
chances are, I'm not saying whether I like him or I don't, I'm not saying not going down that line. I would do it, I think, either way. Now, the wedding one is different because if it's somebody, say, that had bullied me at school, say all
Yeah.
those years ago, he's affected me directly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's more personal, isn't it?
Hmm. Okay.
I mean, you could
Whereas
argue
Nigel,
Farage is, well, he has affected
yes.
you
Well,
directly. I mean,
yeah,
we've
that's
left it to
yeah,
you whether you agree with it or not. He
yeah,
has affected you personally, but
yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you mean. There's this slightly personal. Let's say someone, it's not something I ever have to deal with, but you may have done in the past. Someone was quite racially derogatory about you in the
Hmm.
past, and
Hmm.
then wants you to shoot their wedding. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And but then you can sort of say if they've directly said that to you, you know their feelings, and you go, then because you've been directly really affected by it, that's different being affected by somebody like say like Nigel
Nigel
Farage
Farage,
or
yeah.
somebody else, right? Who, yes, you know that you don't agree, you know that you don't agree with what they stand for.
Hmm.
And yes, you could say that it does affect you directly, but it's but in a way it hasn't directed
It's
you
not quite as
effectively. It's
personal,
not
is it?
personal. It's not
Yeah.
personal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
know, and I
would you then would you take on the wedding of let's say this imaginary bully? Would you
no,
take it on? No,
no, but
you would knock
no,
it. You would say no.
yeah, but then again, I'm also at the point. Well, no, actually, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I was saying I'm at the point in my career where I wouldn't need to really.
Yeah, but that
Right,
doesn't
right?
matter.
That doesn't matter.
You
No,
know,
I would say no straight
it's
away.
still 3 grand either way,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, I would say no straight away.
Hmm.
I would because it's something that affects me personally, really personally.
Yeah.
So I know I've been in the situation when someone's made a little comment at a wedding, snide little remark or something, and it's not happened often, right? But and some of the team have come up to me and said, "Oh, like, bloke's just said this,"
Hmm.
or he keeps saying to me, "I keep getting in his way," or whatever, or
Hmm.
and whatever. Then yeah, I've sort of done it and said, "Okay, just don't make sure that you don't take any pictures of him now throughout the whole day.
Hmm.
That he doesn't get any pictures, so he's going
Yeah.
to be completely wiped out of any
Hmm.
wedding pictures that are taken."
Yeah.
So. And if he does look for any pictures of himself, apart from a group photo, which he has to be in, then you just he's just not going to be featured.
No.
So so somewhere along the line you can get your own back
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
situation.
No, I get that. I get that.
So
But it
yeah.
is a tricky one, isn't it? Because I guess what we do is very personal. It's not like
Mm,
you're doing the accounts for someone or anything like that. You know,
yeah,
you're meeting someone, you're getting in their space,
yeah.
you're directing someone. You know, it is tricky. I think from my point of view, like you said, first of all, I'm not in the position um I've never been in that position to really worry about it. I
Mm,
have taken pictures of celebrities before that I feel have been a bit off with me,
mm,
and treated me like staff.
yeah,
I'm not going to say who they are,
yeah,
but I dare say to do that with everyone. That's not a personal thing against me. That's just the way they are because and I've had non-celebrities do that with me as well
yeah,
in doing family
yeah,
shoots.
yeah,
Someone like Farage, I'd like to think that I would turn it down, but if they offer me 10 grand, I'm not so sure.
yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
honest. I'll be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Although it does remind me, a good few years ago, we discussed a photographer who did a picture of Philip Green.
Oh
Uh,
yes, I remember
do you
that.
remember
Yeah,
that? So
yeah,
it's an episode. I'll describe it. So Philip Green wasn't particularly nice as photographer during the shoot, or something like
yeah,
that. And so basically, this photographer took a picture of Philip Green. It was on a rooftop, wasn't it? And the photographer stood in between these two topiary
yes,
hedge, which were sort of sculpted into balls.
yeah,
So he looked like a cock and balls,
yeah,
basically. And they
yeah,
used it on the magazine, didn't they? They didn't get it, and yeah.
yeah,
So you could do that maybe.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's right.
but
Put your own
but
little
yeah,
take. Yeah, put your own little take in there, couldn't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a
Um.
tricky one. It is a tricky one because we're paid to do these, and it is promoting someone maybe you don't like, and do you want to be part of that? And
Well,
yeah,
you think about news. station, new broadcasters, when they get these politicians on, or they have to be seen to be impartial, and they have to interview them.
Yeah, but they have
You
to
know,
grill them though.
they
I
have to
think that's a bit
grill them.
easier. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you're having to promote him in this respect.
yeah,
You got to make he or she look good.
yeah. That's right. Yes,
Whereas
yeah.
news, someone like a Paxman, if he doesn't like someone who's coming on, he's probably rubbing his hands. I'm
He's
going to
gonna,
make
yeah.
mincemeat of this
Yeah,
guy. Do you know
exactly.
what I
That's right. Yeah,
mean?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good point actually. Yeah, another interesting topic, I think,
Yeah,
and
I think so.
I think everyone can have a think to themselves and have a serious think about it as well. What would they do?
Yeah, I'd be
And
really interested to know.
yeah,
So please comment.
yeah,
Please do comment or
yeah.
email us or whatever, however you want to do it, because I'm not sure what I would do. Cam seems a bit more sure, but I'm not so sure. But yeah, be interested to know what you guys would think.